Joining us now is Jack Ablin. He's founding partner and chief investment officer at Cresset Capital. Jack, is this an impact that you think is going to be priced in or an exogenous hit?
Well, I think it's unfortunately another factor that has to be weighed in. When we're looking at equities, obviously it's really a function of interest rates and earnings. And so having a strong dollar is certainly a headwind, at least to some parts of the market. Absolutely.
You have a list of names here that are able to withstand dollar strength. A name like Walmart, seems intuitive, very domestic focused, WW Grainger, Automatic Data, ADP. More vulnerable, you put some of the best places in the market that investors like to go, like Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, even Tesla. Is there a difference between vulnerable and, going to suffer because of it?
Yeah, I think if you're just looking at, how these stocks perform relative to the vagaries of the dollar, the large tech, semiconductors, we have to keep in mind that, these large tech players generate nearly half of their revenue overseas, and semiconductors generate nearly 3/4 of their revenue overseas. So, you're producing potentially in this country, selling overseas, and then translating those overseas that revenue back to domestic profits, that's going to be a near-term hit. But we have to keep in mind, if you look at the dollar fundamentally against most currencies, it's pretty well overvalued. You take, for example, purchasing power parity, which, is essentially the Big Mac index. If you buy a Big Mac in this country, translate it to yen right now, and go to Japan and buy a Big Mac, you'll actually be able to buy 2 Big Macs. That's how different or undervalued, I should say, the yen is right now relative to the dollar. So I do think that there are going to obviously a lot of technicals. The fact that we've got a bombastic Fed that's flapping its arms, that's calling for 50 basis points this month, next month. But I also think that the ECB, now that we saw inflation, German inflation at 7.5%, I think the ECB is going to respond also. So we are going to see some euro strength. I think eventually the Bank of Japan is going to capitulate and support the currency. And then ultimately, fundamental values have to play out. You can't simply, maybe we should just all rush to Japan and buy Big Macs right now.